I am Dee Brecker. I'm the head of philanthropy at the London School of Economics. I am a trained zoologist with a specialism in herpetology. I do have a soft spot for frogs, my favourite things in the world. I became a fundraising leader directly after working with the management centre with the fabulous Burns Ross, and through his tutelage really honed my skills in understanding fundraising strategy and understanding how to think about different income streams and how they work together. And directly after leaving the management centre, I moved into my first head of fundraising role. There is no such thing as a typical day, but I think everyone says that. My typical days are really different depending on the nature of the organisation I'm working for. So my typical day at the NHS was not the same as a typical day when I worked in government, and not the same as when I worked for voluntary sector organisations. Here at the LSE, a typical day is really focused on our donor and alumni. We are privileged to have such a huge global community to engage with, and to engage with for our gifts and to engage with our students. So a typical day focuses on them. It can range from, I always have a touch point, one point in the day, the beginning or the end of the day with my team. And then the day involves conversations with our events manager about an event we're doing either virtually or in person. It will involve some strategic or operational bits, talking about gift agreements, budgets, finance, long-term planning. I will typically have one or two conversations with faculty, sometimes quite brief, and sometimes longer, because we're either shaping a gift for a specific individual, or we are looking ahead to fundraising needs and trying to identify whether or not our donor pool might match up with the fundraising needs that they have. And then depending on different times of the year, it will also include some direct interaction with students. I support a number of donors who have scholarship arrangements, and that's really lovely to develop your own relationship with the scholar, and to be able to introduce them to their donors. I think you need to be relaxed about when things go wrong, because you're dealing with people and you're dealing with money, and people are rarely at the point that you need them to be at the point you need them to be at that point, and money rarely comes in the way or the shape or the form or the timings that you want it to come. And so your role as a leader is to coach and encourage your team to feel comfortable with sometimes going with the flow, as well as long-term planning and stewardship and thinking about how they're taking their donor through their giving journey. And when you do respond to something, you've kind of got to be relaxed about when it doesn't go right. I also think a fundraising leader needs to have vision, a clarity about how money's going to come in that year and what we need to do to bring the money in that year, but how money's going to come over the next 3 to 5 years, and what we need to set in place for sustained funding each and every year. And the third thing is that I think you need to be comfortable, really, really comfortable in asking for money. Because as a fundraising leader, you have to model behaviours, particularly for newer members of your team and less experienced members of your team. You have to show them that it's okay to ask for money, that if you've thought about the donor, you've thought about matching the things that make them really excited with, or really align with their values base, with what we're doing, and you're bringing those two things together. It's a very natural conversation. And you need to be comfortable about modelling that and asking for money in front of other people as well as with your donor. My advice for an aspiring fundraising leader is to make sure that you know the area of fundraising you want to be a leader in. If you want to lead a specialist function, so if you want to specialise in corporate engagement or in corporate partnerships or trusts and foundations or in major giving, then hone your craft in that, so that as a leader, not only can you set vision and strategy, but you can genuinely coach your team to be better in that specification, in that particular field of fundraising. But if you like different areas of fundraising, then I would encourage you to work in slightly smaller organisations where you can hone your craft across multiple income streams, and therefore you will have confidence in leading a multidisciplinary team. But keep one area of specialism, because there's something very nice about having a fundraising leader that the team is aware, yes, they have an oversight of all the different income streams, but they're really good at that.